we will manage well. The onion, garlic, gingers, red peppers, and tea leaves. Now, this is all raw materials that we will use to cook dish today. You can see the well absorbed waters, tea leaves. After we finish the preparations of the raw material, we can end into the cooking steps. Now we need to clean the table to leave enough space for us. And the things we remain is we will use in the next step. Wine, soy sauce, oyster sauce, and oil remain them. Clean the knife, clean the chopping board. Okay, we continue to clean the table. Okay, these materials is the things we will use in next step. Now we start to cook the chicken meat. If we want to cook it perfectly, we need some time. We use oil to seal up the chicken meat. We need to put into the colder environment, like ice box. Leave it for around 10 minutes to more minutes. It will be perfect marinated. We can see this is red pepper slices, and the seasoning materials we will use is soy sauce, oyster sauce, and the Tieguanyin tea wine. Now, first, we need to fry the tea leaves. We need to let the scent of the Tieguanyin blend into the oil. Pour the oil into the skillet. We can reuse the fried oils in the later cooking. Okay, open the fire. Okay, prepare the tea leaves aside. Blend the oil, let its temperatures arise smoothly. How to know the temperatures of the oil is okay or not? We can use the temperatures equipment. If we don't have any temperature equipment, we can find a chopstick. Put into the oil pot. The more bubble appears, the higher temperature is. We need the 120 degrees temperature, so we just need a little bubble. We can see now it has some bubble, not too much. Now the time is ready. The time is perfect.
The second method is that you can try to put inside some tea leaves, and you could see based on the tea leaves, if the temperature is not high enough, you can wait for a longer period of time. Okay, so you can just fry the tea leaves, and now you can see that the bubbles already now it has less bubbles, and then you can drain the tea leaves and using the drainer to fish out the tea leaves. You should be able to control the temperature of the oil into a proper range and do not over fry the tea leaves. And now we should wait until the tea leaves are drained. Now you can feel and smell the fragrance of the tea in the oil. And when it's drained, you can put the tea leaves into a plate. And remember, at this point, you should be able to drain the extra oil out of the tea leaves. Try to make sure that it's crispy, and then we should place it evenly in a plate. Now we should wait for a little while until the temperature goes up to around 120 degrees Celsius. At this point, if you can hear some noise coming out from the oil, that means the oil contains water, so you need to wait for a couple of minutes. And now you can put inside a chicken to test the temperature. Now it seems great and the oil has reached the proper temperature and you can place all of the chicken meat inside the oil. Remember at this point, the oil cannot be heated into a very high temperature. The first fry should use low temperature to fry the chicken. If you are here with me, you can smell the fragrance of the tea already. And when you are frying the chicken meat, you should place it evenly in the pot like this. Lower temperature could guarantee that the fish is cooked already, and the second fry we're going to use higher temperature to make sure that it gives out a stronger sense of fragrance. And now we can stir the meat a little bit to make sure that it's heated evenly. When you observe the pot, you will see that the oil at this point, the temperature is not very high. And now we need to wait until the chicken meat is ready. And later we're going to fry the chicken meat again. But on the second time, we're going to use a higher temperature, that is about 150 degrees Celsius. When the chicken meat turns white completely, and we need to fish out the chicken meat, use the drainer to fish out the chicken meat, and then drain the chicken meat. And also we need to use this filters to fish out all of the extra small pieces of the chicken meat so that we can make sure the oil is clean. Now we're going to turn to a higher temperature to raise the temperature of the oil. And stir the oil gradually to make sure that the chicken can be heated evenly. If there are more crispy parts over here, you should fish them out completely so that the chicken won't be sticky. Now, the temperature of the oil should be able to reach 150 degrees Celsius so that it could have a crispy and golden appearance. And you shouldn't cook it for too long when we're frying the chicken for the second time. So the second fry, we should use high temperature, but at this point, we should use less time so that it could be crispy and juicy at the same time. Now we can see that there's no water inside the oil anymore. And that's how you can tell that the oil has already rised up to 150 degrees. At this point, you should use high temperatures so that you can give the chicken meat a crispy texture on the outside. If you don't know for sure, you can put inside a chicken meat to test the temperature of the oil. That's not enough. The temperature is not high enough. So we need to wait for a little while. When you see the smoke of rising up from the pot, when you see this water evaporate, you can put the chicken meat inside the oil again. Now you can see that the oil is fully cooked, and we should pay attention to the color of the chicken and maintain the temperature. Make sure that the chicken can produce a crispy shell on the outside. Now you can stir the chicken meat to make sure that it is heated and fried evenly. Now the meat can be soaked inside this oil and it could integrate with the fragrance of the tea fully. We're almost done. Now we should fish out the chicken meat and drain the extra oil. The pot didn't function very properly, so we need to fry the chicken meat once again now. So when you're at home, you should better get yourself a chicken use thermometer so that you can measure the temperature more properly.
Okay, refire again. Now we can look look at the chicken's surface. It has a brown and yellow color. That means the fry degree is okay. Now the chicken have got the brown and yellow color. We pour the oil and the chicken meat together and use a filter to scrape the chicken meat out. And we can remain some oil in the skillet. We can see there remain a little oil in the skillet. It don't need to remain too much, just a little. Then we put the garlic into it. And the oil white part, the onion white part, the ginger, dried red pepper. All put into the skillet and use the small fire to stir fry. Just use a very soft fire to fry. And until we fry, until we can smell the scent of these raw materials. It's need patience. We use a softer fire. It will have enough and perfect scent. Now we can smell strong scent of the material. Maintain soft fire. Put the chicken meat first. Then put the tea leaves. Or put into the skillet. And do stir frying evenly. We can use the shoulders or fry spoon to do the action. Okay, maintain soft fire. Okay, add some oyster sauce, some soy sauce, some tea wine, from the skeleton's edge into the material. Blend evenly. Okay, when we finish, we put into plate. Okay, now manage the dish, let it look perfectly. Adjust material. Pay attention to clean the edge of the plate. Okay, after cleaning, we finish this dish. Okay, after we finish this dish, I make a conclusion. We need pay attention. Firstly, when we fry the chicken meat, we should perfectly control the temperature. We need to fry tea leaves first, and then fry the chicken meat. Because we need to let the tea scent blend into the oil, then we fry the chicken meat. We can guess the scent into the meat. And then during the process of the frying, first we need to use low temperature to fry, and then we need to use the higher temperature like 150 degrees or higher than it to refry. And the third, we need to use the fresh and green 铁观音 tea leaves. If we use some old tea leaves after frying, the tea leaves will lose its sense and flavor. So we better use the fresh new tea leaves to cook this dish. And during the cooking, we should pay attention the raw materials, preparing, and after the seasoning materials, we just use a little soy sauce and oyster sauce to put into the skillet from its edge into the bottom. And today our practice is finished. We need to practice more during in our home. Okay, thank you. And I noticed that some students have paid attention to the Longjing shrimp. It is a famous Chinese food. There is an allusion. At the city Hangzhou, at the village Longjing, there is a spring called Longjing Spring. On the mountains, they have planted Longjing tea. And the ancient emperors of China go into the Hangzhou city. When he go into a restaurant, he feel the tea and the food are very delicious. He noticed that there is 4 of the shrimps. And in that time, the local people will stir fry the shrimps. One day, the Asian emperor go into the restaurant. He put on the common clothes because he didn't want to others know he is the Asian emperor. But people in the restaurant noticed that that man have some yellow colors at his trousers leg. So the restaurant's people very afraid. Then the people in restaurants help the Asian emperors to soak the tea leaves. But the people forget the emperor's tea leaves in the kitchen. And the cookers use the tea leaves add into the shrimps because she thought that is a common season's material. And in this way, they creating a dish, Longjing shrimps, in accident. But the Asian emperors eat. They feel this dish is very delicious. So from Asian to now, we have know there is a famous Chinese dish called Longjing Xiaren. Longjing tea. When we use Longjing tea, we better use the 85 degrees to cook because the tea leaves are different, so the temperatures are different too. When we do the Longjing shrimp, we first choose a better shrimp. The shrimp should be small. If we can buy Longjing tea, we can use some green tea or spring tea leaves. Are all okay because the tea leaves in spring is not too much bitter. It can be a good replaceable options for Longjing tea. And we soak and create tea soup and gradually put the tea soup into the shrimps assembly and use some starch into the dish, and we can create a Longjing shrimp.
Shrimp with Longjing flavor is one of the traditional tea cuisines, and the class I teach is the modern tea cuisine. We can also use some new technologies, for example, like evaporation. to evaporate the fragrance of the tea leaves. Besides this, we can also use ultrasonic machines to grind the tea leaves into powders to make some desserts. In conclusion, the dishes we make should be able to be tasty and has a beautiful appearance. And also the tea leaves should add to the flavor of the dish. For example, shrimp with Longjing tea flavor. You can use green tea to replace the Longjing tea. So that when you are tasting it, you can feel the fragrance of the tea leaves and also the freshness of the shrimps. It's not like every dish can be added into the tea leaves. The two materials, the leaves and the main dish, should be able to improve one another and produce a better results. So we can upgrade the fragrance and also the flavor of the dish. So when we're choosing the types of the tea, that is also critical. We can separate the tea cuisines into different types. For example, like tea soups or tea powders. Or we can use tea fragrance to smoke the fish or meat.
Dear participant, please wait a second. The teacher is preparing the video material to show you. So please wait a second. Thank you so much. And if you have any question on the course and the Chinese tea cuisine, please feel free to type in the chat box. Thank you. We are preparing of the materials video to show you, so please wait a while. Thank you. And do you like Chinese tea cuisine? If you know any Chinese tea cuisine, you can feel free to type in the chat box or any other Chinese dish you like. And next we will play a video about Chinese tea cuisine. Chinese Longjing Street. So please watch the video.
And tenderness. So you can pair it with the dish, and this will make the dish a perfect combination of the shrimp and also the tea leaves. So the teaching objectives today is that we can comprehend the stir-fry techniques and control of the heat while we're cooking the shrimps and the tea leaves. So that's also the key points over here. The main difficulties is to master the skills of coating, deep frying, and cooking of shrimps. And we should be able to master the flavor fusion of Longjing tea and ingredients in cooking. So now we're watching the raw materials. So we will also explain the cooking process, cooking demonstration. And now we're going to cook the dish. So we're going to use salt. And it is a cooking method in which raw materials processed into small quantities, and they are first coated and deep fried, then quickly stir fried with a small amount of oil in a higher temperature, and then finally thicken it. So the raw materials about 500 grams of shrimps and 5 grams of Longjing tea and a half of egg yolk and 1.5 grams of salt and 20 grams of starch and around 40 grams of blending oil and a proper amount of clove, ginger, and scallion. So when you clean the fish, you need to cut off some extra fins and extra parts of the shrimp. So if it's a larger shrimp, you need to remove the dark lines outside of the shrimps and also remove the shells and peel the shrimps. And then you can use running water and cleaning the shrimp for about 20 minutes so that you can rinse off some materials and make the shrimps clean. And then add scallion, ginger, wine, and salt and chicken powder to season the shrimp. And then you can place blend oil on the surface to better preserve the seasoning and make sure that the shrimps can absorb all of the seasonings. And now you can use a boiled water and make the Longjing tea. So once the water is heated up to 75 to 85 degrees, you can add a proper amount of water so that it will cover all of the tea leaves. The brewing time is around 30 seconds, and the tea water is clear and bright and green. So now you can rinse out and stain the tea water and separate the tea leaves and the water. Now you can pour blend oil into the pot and heat it the oil and then add the shrimps inside the oil until it's heated around 30 degrees. How to test the temperature of the oil? You can put inside a small shrimp for a test run. So when there are small bubbles on top of the oil, it's all right for you to put inside all of the shrimps. And then you could use the drainer to drain all of the oils out of the shrimp. and then add some powders and add shrimps and tea leaves inside the cook and stir fry it until it's cooked. You can observe the dish, and the dish appears the shrimps are fresh and the tea leaves are tender. It's very delicious and also contains a lot of nutrients, has different types of vitamins, and it also tastes great. The green tea contains a variety of vitamins, and it could help lower the risks of getting high blood pressure. So it's very good for kids and the senior people. So while we are making the dish, we need to pay attention to two things. The first one is to peel the shells and testicles of the shrimps. And second one is to control the oil of the temperature of the oil.
Thank you so much for listening, and we will have a break time 10 minutes. So please return to our course in 10 minutes later. Thank you so much. We will back to our class 10 minutes later, so please take a break. Thank you. Okay, everyone, now we're back to the class, and Mr. Qing will give more introduction for this course and sharing the knowledge about the tea cuisine.
And about the question, how to control the temperatures of oil. We can see the low temperatures of oil is 85 to 120 degrees. We call it in China 3-4成热. And we can see the surface of oil is steady and no oil film, no sounds. And the median degrees of oil is from 120 to 180 degrees. We call it in Chinese the 60% hot. In these temperatures, we will have a little oil film, and the oil surface will have a little bubble, and the high temperatures of oil is from 180 to 240 degrees. We call it in Chinese 80% hot. And the bubble will expose from the inside of oil to outside of oil, and has many oil film. When we use the spoon to blend the oil, we will have a very big sounds. And so how to control the oil temperatures? We can to depend its states from the temperature. And we can see the high temperatures, the oil slips will happen many bubbles from the inside, outside, and have many oil film. And if you have any waters into the oil, it will have very big sounds. And in this dish, the chicken with 铁观音 flavors, we first use the temperature's oil to fry the meat chicken become ready to eat. And the second frying, we use the high temperatures of oil to fry the meat because we want to let it have the brown and yellow surface. The low temperature oils is suitable for the soaked and some slow fry, and the medium temperatures of oil suitable for the fries or fry for crisp surface, and the high temperatures of oils is suitable for use it to fry the chicken, fish, or other things. We can decide and observe it from the surface of oil, but it will be better that we have the temperature gauge to see the temperature directly. If we want to control the temperatures, we want to make a dish for a very big size of raw materials. In these situations, maybe we found the surface of the material is become black, but the inside of the material is still raw and can be eaten. So we need to fry the materials. Before we frying, we need to make the preparation to let the materials has medium or small same size. In this way, we can make sure that all material and the dish will be okay, be ready to take out and be ready to eat. We can see and feel the temperature from the surface of the oil and the bubble of the oil and the oil film. We can say how to choose the chicken meat. Because we made the chicken with 铁观音 flavors in stir frying, so we need to choose some chicken meat with enough fat, because if we choose some meat with enough fat, its taste and the flavors will be juicy and tasty. And when we see the meat, we can smile and look and use hands to touch, feel the meat have enough oil, enough fat or not. When we choose chicken meat, we use all the ability to think about how should we pick which one. And the chicken should be healthy too. And we can choose the chicken leg, but the chicken chest is not suitable for this dish because the chicken chest is too dry and have with no fat. It can be juicy. And the third, about the frying oil can be reused or not. In the generals, we can reuse the frying oil, but we should control the times of the reuse oil. In these dishes, we use oil to fry once in lower temperatures, fry second in higher temperatures. So it's equal to we use the fry oil twice. So in the futures, maybe we reuse these oils just twice or 3 times. We can use it more because the oils, when we reuse oil fry some things, it will appear some bad things to our healthies. So we can reuse, but we can reuse too many times. And when we fry materials, we can fry for a short time, but we can fry it for a long time. And today we use the 铁观音 teeth as traditional teeth between the it is native to Anxi Fujian province and is one of the top 10 famous tea in China. It belongs to the green tea category. And we have other famous tea such as white tea, black tea, and dark tea, and other. The Tie Guan Yin was discovered in the 1723 to 1735, and it have allusions. Oolong tea. Yes, Tie Guan Yin belongs to oolong tea, and oolong tea is a stem, is a kind of a stem-fermented tea. And about the dealing of the chicken meat. We need to know the directions and the locations of the chicken bones. We use the tips of knives to be correctly. If we can't understand and know the bones locations of the chicken leg, we can use hands to touch and to feel. And we should pay attention to that. If we want to take out the bone, we should to cut off the bone and the tendons, and we can take out the bones. In the Chinese cooking ways, we can take the whole bones from a chicken. This is a very high and important skill in our Chinese cooking. And today we bone the chicken's legs. We use some small skill, and we can't to damage the chicken legs meat. And if we have learned some more difficulty skill in Chinese cooking, maybe we can realize the target that to bones the whole bones from the chicken's body. This is a very higher skill. But maybe we need to study for more than 8 years, we can do it. And we need to remember there are small bones on the big bones of the chicken leg, and the small bones is very sharp. So when we press the chicken meat to cut off the bones, we need to check if there are some sharp and small bones remain in the chicken meat. If we didn't find this, didn't check, maybe the small bones left in the chicken leg will hurt the eater's mouth. It's dangerous. So it's a key action. So the check is a very key, very important actions in order to avoiding hurting the eater's mouth. And today's third way cooking methods is the stir fry. It's called gan chao in Chinese cooking. And if we use this method way, we just use the fresh and new materials. If the materials is also old, the stir frying is not suitable for this material. because when we're cooking, the dish will be hard to choose. It's not good for our teeth. So the stir frying is just suitable for some fresh meat, and the material should be too big, too heavy. If the material is too many, too big, we can't realize and made a yellow and crispy surface during the frying. And in the daily life of Chinese families, the most common ways of cooking is stir frying. Some fried meat, some vegetable all belong to this cooking methods. But we need to pay attention. The tea season is the tea leaves and the meat is equal importance in our cooking. So we can't make the cookings too spicy because we also think the tea's flavor and tea scent is important. The main materials is tea leaves, is not spicy pepper, chili. So we think the tea leaves and the meat is two important material in cooking. So I didn't recommend you to add too much spicy chili into this dish.
We have several patterns. One is the sameness level. The keywords are around the audio and screen. So the process key levels and the bottle. You can hear a bit just like kind of symbol to oh. The characteristics of writing, and it also has to speak aftertaste. While we are brewing the tea, even after seconds, you can feel the tea first. For some recipes, that is not as quality. The tea preference will just disappear when you brew it for 7 times. So we have the first level, second level, until the fourth levels of Guanyin, and then each of them has different characteristics. The leaves are different, and the texture and also the smell of the tea is also different. The present level of the Guanyin contains very straight, steady, and round leaves. Both the appearance and also the flavor are all prominent. And Teguani can also be classified into mellow fragrant and strong fragrant leaves. While you're cooking, you need to be able to choose different types of Teguani. For example, the strong fragrant Teguani leaves will cover the original smell of the raw material. So you should be careful while choosing the strong fragrance type of the 铁观音. Now we'll talk about some more details of the text. Now I will show you more information about tea cuisines.